Hello and welcome. I'm Kory, the art archaeologist. I just sketched this up and with pencil first, and then I went ahead and went over it with a permanent Sharpie fine line marker. Here, let me see. Here we go. Went over it with just a plain old Sharpie. Sharpies are my favorite. They're my go-to pens. So today I'm just going to be using, of course, some water. I grabbed some salt for a little bit of texture. You can use any kind of salt you have on hand. It all works. You do get different texture from different salt, but just experiment with what you've got. And then I've got this. For Christmas, got some wonderful little art kits. These are Prima, I believe. Yes, and the one I'm going to be using today is Woodlands, and these are all the colors you get with this little Woodlands kit. Very fun little kit. Now I've got my little squirt bottle, and I like to just activate all of my colors ahead of time. I may not use them all, but you want to go ahead and activate. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use a number 9, a number 6 round, and a fan brush for spatter. I love to spatter stuff. So let's go ahead and get into this. that everything's dry enough, we're able to do this stem. And I want to go ahead and use that really light beige color for this part. I think that would look really nice to have a little bit of solid in the midst of all the color blends. So I'm a very rookie watercolor artist for sure. But I love these little sets that I got. I got Woodland, Tropicals, Currents, which is the most beautiful aquas and blues. And then I got one other one, I got Terrain. So I'm going to be using these a lot. And of course, if you have not subscribed yet, I invite you to. Okay, so for the most part, this is dry. Now I'm working on Canson mixed media paper, and the reason why is I used to teach this in a class, and I could never, you can't print your sketches on watercolor paper. You can't, you know, print them out of your printer. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean. So you have to transfer everything to watercolor paper because it's just too thick to print. But I needed a whole bunch of these. So this paper is warping and buckling a little bit. And I could have solved that had I not gotten lazy. I could have taped this down to my board. And I will have to be doing that more in the future. I do have a tendency to be a bit of a lazy artist. I just want to get my paints out and I want to get to it. So let me go ahead and dump this salt here. Of course, remember to put some over your left shoulder. I've got salt on my carpet in here. I need to vacuum. Okay, so now we're at this point, and my original plan was to zen-tangle this feather, but it is so beautiful. I don't know that I want to interfere with all the gorgeousness going on inside, but we are going to outline it to kind of clean it up a little bit. So you just, of course, want to come in with a thick Sharpie and just go over all your lines. Now this is a very controlled, kind of a cartoony look, but I like this look. And for zen-tangle, this can really be a must, having nice, thick, separating lines. I'm going to go ahead and outline all of this in the thick black here. So now I just want to take a script liner to this, and this one's quite long, but that's fine. And then I've got this beautiful shadow color here. I really must remember to move my little key out of the way before I start activating, because look, I reactivated those. I want to use this shadow color and add some hairs here and there to this. It really helps the look. You can come down here, especially at the bottom, and just kind of make some wispy lines. So many feathers have, well, all of them that I've seen have this. I just love the look of a script liner brush too. It's so beautiful. And then what you can do on some of these upper areas is you can come out, because they're going to have little hairs too, and you can kind of fix a lot of little flaws this way. Okay, so now we're at this point, and I left this little spot here to do with you. And that is going to show the tiniest bit. So a couple things you can do are, one, you can do this. You can kind of minimize that by doing this. Another thing you can do, of course, is add spatter in that color. That will really go a long way to make that look okay, and we will do that for this piece. Now keep in mind, if you're going to do these little hairs, now this is kind of a love-hate thing. Not everybody loves the look of this right here, and if you don't love it, of course don't do it. But here I want to show you a nice finishing touch on these feathers, and you can always take, you know, a bit of a lighter hand and use a thinner black brush or black pen instead of using the thick line Sharpie. So here's something you can do to really go far with this, and that's just throw in some thin black lines here and there. There you go. So here's the beginnings of something really lovely. Now let's go ahead and do this mist color here. I've got to activate it. That's the color that I had my little mishap with right there. So let's just go ahead and do some spatter with this, and I would definitely guess that adding the hairs last would probably be better. Got some really watered down and some not so watered down drops here. So you can overdo it quite easily like I just did. Let's add some littler ones in here. You can concentrate on that area a tad just to kind of make it kind of pull together. So there's all kinds of little ways that you can go to minimize your mistakes, but I really don't let stuff like that worry me too much. Okay, so this one, I consider this done. I really wanted to leave a lot of this open just to keep all of this beautiful little watercolor element showing. I like how it came out. The hairs are a little much on this. It's kind of fun though. It's different. It's unique. Here's where the hairs really work. Real quick, this is again is that little Woodlands. Oh, love it. Okay, so this style here is a little bit different. It's a lot more open space on these feathers, and the hairs really do work a lot better on stuff like this here. So there's those, and I can definitely do some more style like this too. If you guys like feathers, let me know, because I'm into doing this stuff. I think it's fun. And then here, these are heavily zen-tangled leaves versus feathers, and these don't, of course, have any little hairs on them, so this would work really well without as well, as you can see here. Now I've got some blanks, and this is a copy of this from the class I used to teach. So I figured since I've got these copies, I'm going to go ahead and do this one in the near future. And then I've got a copy of this one as well. And I thought it would just be fun to do totally different than what I've got here. But we can do some of these tangles. A lot of these tangles in here are really fun. And then I've got this bigger, a lot more blatant flamboyant feather, but I like this because when you get these big spaces, then you can do your zen-tangle and you can still see all the beautiful watercolor underneath. So we'll be doing these real soon, and I'm so glad you stopped by. This, I kind of, when I look at this, I think, oh, it's a little junkyard feather. It's kind of rough for the wear, you know, but I love it. So I'm glad you stopped by, and of course hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, and I will see you real soon. Have a great day.